We'll be doing some preparatory position for wheel pose and especially for drawbacks, and we'll work on those muscles which we need to have activation and strength, and we'll try to improve the range of motion of those joints which feel restricted. Generally, this position seems confusing to many people because here we are doing forward bend of spine. But what is there to appreciate is that can we keep our head down, raise your hands off the floor. Now what do you see in this position is we are activating our back muscles. Turn your palms outward externally, which is, you remember that when we engage muscles on this area, our lats is actually stretching with relaxation. Understandable? Can you raise your hands even higher? Higher, higher. Very good. For 5 seconds, just 5 seconds. Okay, relax. Come in table position. Now, other rule of moving towards any movement depth is joint movement. So, joint movement we'll consider as cat-cow. So, do few repetition of cat-cow. And now, it would be great if you do cat-cow from bottom to top, top to bottom, moving from each and every bone. So, try to do APT only, then your lower back, then your upper back, then your head. Now, only start here. Only here. Go down from here, go up from here. Only here, only here. Higher, 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 higher. Now PPT. Now last one. This time you first raise your head first up, drop your chest down, then your upper back, lower back down. Raise your right leg up, higher. Right leg, higher, like tiger position. Now in this position we want to make sure hips are in level, knee is bent. Lift the knee higher. Turn your knee like thigh internally and lift it higher. Now, as we already know that in this position, when we are extending our leg, the extension is limited by lower back as well. So can you bend the knee, maintain this height, and now do cat position. Cat position and maintain the height. This shows that our extension is going to the maximum. Yeah, lift it high, very good. Now cow pose last time, and try to bring your head towards your foot. Lift your knee higher, foot higher. Try to bring your foot to the head. Very good. Okay, switch your leg. So left knee goes higher. Cow position, bend the knee, lift it really high. No cat, cow pose. Lift your knee high first. Drop your belly down. Very good. Internal rotation a little bit. Good. Now maintain this height. Do cat pose now. Very good. Try to cat pose from lower back. That's wonderful. Maintain the hip in level. Very good. Now lift it higher. Last time do cow pose. Switch, cow pose. Very good. Wonderful. Okay. Now lay down on your belly. Last few positions we'll do. Now bend your knees. Now lift your knees as high as you can and try to take your hands towards your feet. Bend the knees, but don't grab them. Lift it higher. If I grab the ankle, it will become stretching. We are doing active. Bend the knees more. Bend the knees more. Lift it higher. Bend the knees. Bend the knees more. Knees bend. Knees bend. A lot of hamstring activation. Glutes back. Lift it high. Lift it high. Now can you hold it there? Place your hand next to your heart. A quick passive movement. Try to push your head to the feet. Head to the feet. Very good. And bend your knees more. Wonderful. Now lay down on your belly. Alright, relax. Now let's come last position. Come into low lunge position. In low lunge, we'll keep this toe pointed back. Oh, this is standing split. Low lunge. Keep the toe pointed back. Okay. Point your toe backward. Yes. Now lower your hips as much as you can. While we lower our hips, we want to make sure our lower back does not go into excessive arch. So do PPT. Hold your hands on waist. Hands on waist. Tuck your ribs inward. Good. Stay here. Now try to lift your knee 1 inch off the floor. Just for 3 seconds. Very good. And lower your hips. 2. Can you lean back more? Lean back. Lift your knees. 2 seconds more. And 1. Okay, relax. Switch your leg. You can relax. Right now we are targeting quads plus psoas. At the same time, trying to take spine into deeper extension. Take the leg as far back as you can. Keep the toe pointed. When we keep the toe tucked, it does stretch the muscle. But as we know that muscles are not just, muscles are local segments. But when we talk about fascia, which is spreading all the way, pointing the toe helps us stretch the fascia as well, which is basically connecting all of your front line of fascia. Yeah, that's helpful. So pointing toe becomes helpful. Now lift the knee off. Hands on waist or on the knee, whatever you want. PPT, tuck your ribs in and lean back. Tuck your ribs in, lean back. Press your knees strongly. Lower your hips. 3 seconds. 2, 1. Now relax. All right, relax yourself, come back down, and let's stand on your knees now. Last preparatory position, which is camel position, but we'll do it a little bit actively. Sit on your heels. Right, now grab your heels. Now this is a very fascinating transition for camel. So you lean back slightly first. Now tuck your ribs in. And now press your feet to lift your hips off with PPD. Very good. Keep on lifting, keep on lifting, keep on lifting. Very good. This transition also strengthens your quads, eccentric tension, plus it helps your back go into extension without any compression. Can you lift your heart very high, very high? Now sometimes when you push your hips too far forward, your back goes in high extension. So can you not push your hip forward? Push your hip towards your feet, but resist with your feet. That's actually opposite contradictory force. You are leaning towards your feet, but resisting with the feet. And lift it very high. Okay, now slowly stand on your knees. And now stand on your feet. You can do Uttanasana quickly.
Okay.
Just relaxing forward bend. Now, one thing that we must keep in mind, spine has few rules. The rules are that if we try to bend a spine backward and if we bend it forward too deep, then back bend will actually be restricted. So don't do too deep forward bend. Forward bend should be just relaxing, neutralizing, not counter position. Do you get me? Before we hit the peak pose, we should not try to do any deep opposite movement. Yeah? Okay, so let's stand. Okay, now if we keep our feet together, let's keep the feet together. Keeping feet together, what will happen? It will cause our thigh to remain in adduction where the pelvis will not have enough space to tilt. Do you get that? Plus, when the base is too small, balance becomes a difficult situation. So to make sure that we have enough space for pelvis to tilt, plus we can balance, let's separate the legs. Yeah. Plus, slightly turn the toes outward so that you can have a little more space. See, when you do external rotation of hip, PPT occurs better. And when you do internal rotation, APT occurs better, naturally. Because of the position of the pelvis or your hip joint. Now, placing your hands on waist. Push your hips forward, chest higher. Chest higher, don't fall back. Very good. Now try to go back. But pushing your chest high and head low. Hips forward, go more. Keep on going backward. Try to lower your head down towards your hip. Keep on going, keep on going. Very good, very good. Stay here. Lower yourself a little bit more. Now take your hands overhead. Both hands. Look down, look down, look down. You are there. Lift your heels. Okay, so lifting heel later is not really useful if lower back is comfortable. But before lifting would help her take her knees forward, which would help. Now can you walk yourself closer? Is your lower back comfortable?
Good.
It's good.
I don't feel on my lower back, but I feel on my upper back.
You feel on your upper back, so
yes.
That sounds good actually. Feeling upper back is not really compressive. It's actually a lot of muscular activity, which makes us feel a little bit of... So one good sign of doing back bend would be that your lower back doesn't feel a lot of movement, not a lot of compression, but your upper back start to feel that opening, which means we are targeting the right segment of spine, which generally remains very stiff and tight. Understandable? Can you try it yourself once, last time?
That drop?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we have seen that she has not practiced this before. Also, we haven't done a lot of warm up, but we'll still see if she could.
I tried to practice many times, but just halfway, and then I feel like I'm gonna hurt my wrist or just.
So before you drop your hands to the floor, you make sure that you have gone very far down. So separate your legs a little bit wider more. So in the beginning, we will not take it too advanced. Now try to place your hands on your hips and do PPT a little bit. Okay, let's first do a different movement. Can we do APT first? When we do APT, you'll see lower back arches, extension happens. Now while maintain that APT and lift your heart away from here, very high, very high. Imagine that you are trying to pull your heart outside your ribs. Now lift your chest higher to go back and then try to push your hips forward in PPT. Yes, lift your hips higher, go back. Very good, very good. Keep on going and try to look to the floor. Very good. Now take your hands slowly.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so what is happening here right now is she has leaned too far forward and she feels like falling. So I'll be there. Don't worry. Let's try one.
Just how you move, I feel like I'm gonna fall down. No support.
I was coming there to support.
Okay.
So APT and chest really high. Try to pop your ribs out. Yes. And then try to look to the floor, because if we don't see the floor, we don't really have an idea where to go. Okay, take your hands. Yeah. Yeah, bend your knees slightly. I'm here. Okay, I will support this time. You were there actually.
Almost. So fear of that.
Okay, so basically the fear is that when she lands, she may hurt her wrist and may hit the head, yeah? When you go down, I'll hold you, okay? Let's try, last time. So generally when we even help someone, we help them by shifting the weight forward, yeah? So go back, lift your heels.
Oh, when I lift my heel, I feel my body weight is dropped down. Really, it's too much.
It's too much for you. So basically, you are flexible. You are really flexible. You don't really need to do that. Also, we can see she can straighten her knees, which shows that spine has a lot of movement. Shoulders are flexible enough.
It's about the fear in the mind.
Yeah, it's just...
I know.
To overcome the fear, you need to... Well, what you need to try is do it first on softer cushions, you know?
Yeah, maybe higher.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the best way to counter backbend is engaging inner thighs, engaging front of the thighs, engaging abs, plus your lats. So if you can engage your chest muscles, inner thighs, front thighs, and your abs, this becomes relaxing for your lower back, releasing for your lower back. Is that clear? Understandable? And when we talk about counter positions, we can do some passive positions. And when we talk about, when we do any deep movement of spine, what happens is, somewhere we squeeze the disc too hard. Yeah? When discs get squeezed too hard, as discs are like the piece of mat, which are cushioning in nature, if you keep on compressing them for too long, they also get thin. And that's the reason we get compression also. You may have also heard that if you have been lying down for too long, your space gets back. Let's say when you sleep overnight, your spine may feel a little, taller, relatively, not really taller, but relatively. It's because when you lay down, your curves also get a little straight, plus the disc space gets back normally. But the whole day when you're standing, sitting, moving your spine, that compression keeps on occurring. Yeah? Remember, the compression that we have on the disc is good for the health of the disc. But if the compression is uneven or forceful or jerky, that's when it can lead to slip disc or herniation of the disc. Understand?